Welcome back to the Runners Recap with head coach Rod Barnes. We were on a little bit of a hiatus because we had the holidays and you guys had to make that trip up there to the Northwest, but we are back and we are happy to have you once again join us here.
I'm glad to be back, and Happy New Year's to you.
Happy New Year's to you too, Coach. And let's just say you got your new year started off with a bang, opening up conference play against Seattle U. And not only did you guys play a red-hot Seattle U team, but you shut them down. So how good did that feel to open up league play and get that win?
Well, it felt good, mostly because we played well. I mean, I thought defensively we probably were as good as we've been all year, especially in the first half. And I thought we played with a lot of enthusiasm. I thought the game, we controlled the tempo, and you always want to do that. So that's runner basketball. So, you know, you wake up the next morning and you feel really good about your team.
Yeah, and you talked about controlling the tempo. I saw that as a little bit of a change. Sometimes I feel like the runners, you guys play a really high tempo kind of bouncing off. It felt like things sometimes were slowed down, and that's really what took the Redhawks out of the game. Did you feel the same way? Were my opinions correct?
You're correct, because they're such a high-scoring team.
Right.
And once we kind of gained control of the game, I told our guys that we needed to play it at a pace that would just kind of keep them off balance, because they, you know, even at the end when they made a run with our subs in there, cutting it from 20 to 12, they have some firepower, and I didn't want them to get in a rhythm. I knew we had them kind of off balance. I knew they would have to work because our defense was good. So I wanted to make sure, you know, we made them stay patient on the defensive end also. And then we were trying to pick places of guys we wanted to get into pick and roll situations. So, you know, our guys executed the game plan really well, but you are correct. We toned it up for a minute, but we really were trying to kind of just switch the tempo with them, because they're a team that once they get going, they can really get hot.
And it looked like, too, you mentioned it there, execution. It looked like the runners executed across the board. Yeah. I was wondering, playing at home, it's kind of been your forte this year, remaining perfect so far, 5-0 in the season at home. Does that also play into it, coming back home and feeling that energy there?
Well, it does, because, you know, we obviously we've been on the road a lot, but, you know, I told our guys during the year, you know, there's 70% of the teams win their home games. So 70% of the time, you go on the road, you're going to lose. So what you want to do is protect your home court. If you want to have a good season, win at home, and then try to figure out how to win 4 or 5 games on the road, and then you have a great season. So our guys have tried to follow that formula. We've failed in a couple of areas that we thought we could have got wins on the road, but we've taken care of business at home, and that's really important.
And I think the biggest poison with CSU men's basketball is that not only is it the starting 5 that got off to a hot start, but off the bench, your guys are playing so well. And someone that was highlighted in that game against Seattle U would be Daren Person Jr. He made the most of his 15 minutes, made all of his shots in that game. Just what did you see from him, and why do you think it clicked for him in this game?
Well, I think, you know, first of all, I think he's been off and on injured since he's been here. He was out for a full season that he didn't play any basketball. He wasn't really even working with us most of the time. And I thought the first half of the season, as far as until December, I thought he was pressing. I thought he was really overthinking things. And as I like to tell our guys, he was worrying more than he was working. And finally, we got him back to working. And I think once he got home, had some time off, I think he started to reflect on the way that he needs to play. And James Subert has been a great example to him of how we want him to play. And last night, he was really, really good.
Yes, he was. And I was going to say the storyline for the Runners so far this year is guys returning off an injury, making the most of their time back on the court. So it's good to see for a person that it's kind of, he's finding his time here, it looks like, in the new year. I'm sure you were happy to see that too.
I was happy. Yeah.
And how good does it feel, Coach, to see everyone kind of get involved in the games? We've kind of, like I said, the stat sheet kind of changes up per game. We're seeing big games from Jarkel, from Taze, from James Subert. It's like, it seems like anyone that steps out there, it could be their night to shine. What have you seen from
Well, that's what I told them. I mean, in the beginning of the year, I told them that we didn't have any guys that were 7-footers. We didn't have guys that were averaging 20 points. It's obviously a team game. It's, to me, one of the most ultimate team games, because guys play offense and defense. And in a lot of sports, it's just offense, or either you play on the defensive side. But to play both and to be as involved as it is, and to take as many players. We have 13 guys on scholarship, 15 on the team, and I told them I trust all of them at some point and moment. And it's really, I guess, rewarding when you see guys when it's their turn that they're able to step up. Last night it was Daren Person's opportunity. Last game, Daren didn't play well at Gonzaga, but last night he was really good. So it just keeps us closer as a team. The chemistry really is well. But they bought into early that it's going to take this team to get us to postseason play. No one guy or two guys are going to make it happen. And since they bought into that, that's how you can see our guys are always ready to be called on. And it's just a sense of different games fit different guys.
That's got to be a good feeling for the coach, for sure. And you guys, you're starting your next quest for another WAC title, of course. You got off on the right foot. You're now 1-0.
Right.
But we got to take a look back right before this game, Gonzaga. You played one of the top 10 teams in the country and fell to the Bulldogs. What was maybe a learning lesson from that game, and what do you think maybe sparked for them to bounce back with this game?
Well, I think, first of all, I think we have a lot of respect for Gonzaga. They're one of the better teams, and this is one of Coach Few's best teams. I mean, and he's been having really good teams, but this is one of the better ones, and especially offensively. They're really, really good offensively. And just being a defensive-minded coach, you try to go into games and put game plans together to take things away from guys, and it's hard for them to do it with their team because they have 5 guys, and they all can score. And then their guys off the bench are capable of doing the same. So what we learned from it, I think, more than anything, is I thought once we got down, we lost a sense of belief that we could win the game because they are so strong. And I told them with 8 minutes to go, I mean, it's a 4-point game in the first half. And we've played 14 minutes of really good basketball. And I told them I really couldn't explain what happened. We turned the ball over, I mean, I know that, but they were kind of unforced turnovers, and we didn't guard people that we had been guarding earlier. So I told them as we talked, preparing for the Seattle game, that we've got to believe in ourselves. We still, I don't want to say a young team, but we still got a lot of guys. You just talked about it. Taze Moore played half of the season, got hurt. He's just really getting back. This is his first time. James Suber sat out last year. Daren Person sat out last year. We got Kevin McNeil, who didn't even, he was a junior college player. So the makeup of our team is still inexperienced, not young in the fact of age, but inexperienced. And for a lot of our guys, this was their first time in the positions that they were in against Seattle. But there was a sense of when we got home, because I think even in our loss, our guys started to say, man, that's the number 7 team in the country. And we didn't play well. And I think they knew, like, man, we're better than this. And there's a sense in our program that regardless of who it is, we think we could play with anyone in the country. And we didn't feel like we did that against Gonzaga. So there was a sense of urgency from me, from the assistant coaches, from players, that we need to right this ship right now. And I thought our guys did that.
Yeah, and speaking too of the Red Hawks, to have a team that they were coming off a red hot season, a historic season for them so far in non-conference play. Well, now you're about to host another team that's having a historic, or had a historic non-conference slate in Utah Valley. So 2 tough opponents right off the bat to open up conference play. But with Utah Valley coming into the house this weekend, what are you looking at with them? Of course, the Toulson brothers is going to be, I'm sure, the duo that you guys are looking at a little bit there.
Well, we've got to guard them. I mean, they're really the reason I think that program has really turned the corner, because since they've been there, they continue to get better and better. They beat us 3 times last year, and obviously for me, for our players, it's not necessarily revenge. It's just the sense that we think we're our program. We just don't like getting beat, let alone getting beat 3 times in one season. So we've got our work cut out for them. They're coming, playing well. They've had a great non-conference run. They're returning. They're key guys from last year. So Should be a great game. But again, I think our guys gained confidence from the Seattle game. The first conference game for James Suba to start, the first conference game that Greg Lee would start. So I think guys started to say, hey, listen, we can do this. So it's going to be a tough match, but it should be a good game.
And just like you guys kind of shut down the Red Hawks, Utah Valley was shut down by GCU. So it's going to be interesting, but I wanted to know too, I mean, you never know how things are going to shake out, right, when you build your schedules, but to see some of the top 2 teams right away in your conference right off the bat, are you excited for that, to kind of see where your guys gauge right away in conference, or
I was concerned about it before the Seattle game, because I was like, if we go 0-2 this week, that's not a good start, having 2 games on the road after that. But, you know, our team normally plays better in February and March than we do in early January. So hopefully that's a good sign for our program and for this particular team. But again, it gives us a gauge. We knew coming into the game that Seattle is one of the top 2 or 3 teams in our league this year, and they have been playing that way. And to get a win, and wins are going to be tough on the road. We can see that by, you know, as you just mentioned, Utah Valley lost at Grand Canyon, New Mexico State lost at Cal Baptist. There's going to be a tough, you know, competition throughout the year. So every win you can get, you got to be excited about it. But you definitely want to defend your home court, and that's something that we're taking pride in, and there's some urgency in our program to win at home.
Yeah, staying perfect at home is always a good feeling. And for us fans of good basketball, I'm excited to see that the conference, it looks like, is just going to be a little bit of a roller coaster ride throughout the season. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But Coach, it's that time. I know you thought it was new year and new show.
I said we're going to do a new show, new lighting. We're going to do it all new.
Yeah,
and here we are.
But here we are, because this is my favorite part always, because I would think I'd make you nervous from the start asking questions, but it's always when we get to the breakdown with Barnes, when I throw you those curveballs that you just...
Yes, I'm one that, I'm not a person that likes surprises, so I never know, because in case you guys don't know, I don't know what she's going to ask, so always...
The notes are always in your view, but here's the truth.
But they're upside down.
I know, but it's whatever comes to mind.
Okay, all right.
That's how I play this.
Way. But I'm ready. New year, we'll get it right this year.
All right, that sounds great. You've always gotten it right, though. But the first thing I want to talk about, I've seen on some of your guys' sneakers, there's names written, and I was wondering, that's just a question out of curiosity. What is that? Is that something that you've instilled, or the players? And
players.
And who are some of the names on those guys' shoes?
Some of them are parents. Some of them, a couple of them. Ricky Holder has a little girl. Her name is on his shoes, Snickers. I think Greg Lee's mother, Jarkel Joyner. So that's all family. It's kind of those guys' way of saying who they're kind of playing for, who they're dedicating their season to, and that's something that they've done. It's nothing that I had anything to do with.
Well, I caught my eye one of the last games. I like seeing that. So who would be on your shoe?
Oh, wow. I mean, I would have to put my wife on my shoe.
There you go.
And probably because I'm a believer. But, you know, I believe in Jesus Christ. But, you know, probably just be my wife and my family, just from the standpoint of sometimes when you start doing religious things, people are really negative about it. But so probably my family, my wife would probably be the only one, because I couldn't put my boys unless I put them on the other side of the shoe. So,
you have a full shoe.
I have a full shoe, yeah. Front, back, and all over, yeah.
Well, and see, that way family keeps you grounded when they're written on your shoes, right? I'll start adding to mine too. All right, Coach, so a fun thing about sports is superstition, and I was curious if those names on the shoe were something kind of superstitious, but my real question is for you, are you superstitious, or what's the big superstition you have maybe before games that people don't know about?
I don't have any. I just don't, none. I don't believe in it. I mean, it's kind of what happens today or tomorrow. I'm not one of those coaches that I got to sit in this chair or this person, or I need water or Coke, or you know, I want to tie my shoes this way. I used to sometimes when I played, There was a certain way that I would prepare before the game, but nothing now.
Yeah.
I like to spend some time alone because all these things be running through my head, but I wouldn't say it's something that I'm superstitious about.
Okay, so you just gotta believe. That's enough.
I gotta believe. That's it.
I gotcha. Well, okay, so when you look at a program like Gonzaga and what they've been able to do there in creating a basketball culture, what do you think is the ultimate key to getting a program to that kind of stature?
Well, support. I mean, I think wherever, and I think this is in any business, wherever you can have a lot of resources, when there's a financial commitment, I think you can hire the best people, you can do the best things, you can create an atmosphere that's very fan-friendly, family-friendly, because you have resources. And when you look at their team, they have a small arena. It's like 6,000, and because I was doing a lot of research, but they've been selling out since 2004.
Wow.
So that lets you know not only are they financially behind their team, there's a commitment to be there to support their team, and they are all into their team. But whether that's from, and a lot of people, I don't think that we're not getting supported, because we are. But when, as their coach told me, we got there early, and then our plane got delayed almost a whole day, so we didn't have time again. Our flight was at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we left at 5 o'clock that night.
Oh.
So we didn't get a chance to practice.
When are we getting that CSU jet?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was kind of talking about, and that's what I mean by, financially. As their coach, assistant coach, told me, he said, "Hey, coach, as soon as the game was over, because we chartered, we would be back." And that's, whether that's academics for reasons, for health reasons, for staying healthy reasons, it just takes a village. It takes a city, and we're growing. I'm not disappointed where we are. I think obviously we need to make some improvements and get better. And our support needs to get better. Resources and finances need to get better. When you start talking about that level, they're a mid-major program that started off, and now they're a high major.
Right.
So they are made an investment to be the best on the West Coast, and they're just not talking about it. As the young people say, they're really about it.
Yeah.
So it's but just talking to their coach, it takes time. I mean, Coach Few has been there a lot of years, and it takes winning, because as you win, people get more involved. And, we've got to continue to win, but we've also got to make the investments that need to be made to be at that level, if that's the level that we desire. And that's definitely the level I desire, because I think we can do it. And I think Bakersfield can be a special city, like I think Spokane is. I think the people here in Bakersfield are proud of our university, proud of the city. I just think we've got to continue to win, and I think we've got to continue to get people to support us, as you guys have by having me on. I think that's support that we need, because I think their city is committed to that.
Yeah.
And that's not many cities have the kind of opportunity we have here in Bakersfield.
Well, if anyone has a plane or helicopter on land, I think you're open for those. Get those phone calls.
Oh yes, we are definitely. But,
I can Uber if you want, in my small car if you ever need it. All right, Coach. So we were chatting about kind of changing up the tempo for the Red Hawks and changing up the game plan a little bit. What do you think has been the most successful, ideology for you as a coach? Is it to change things up and be adaptable per team, or find what makes your guys good and just be consistent with that?
Finding what we do. I think every good company or every great program has a staple. Our staple is defense. We feel like we can lower the shooting percentages, we can lower the scoring averages of teams, and if we can do that every night, we feel like it gives us a chance to win. Obviously, the way we play, as far as our pace, how many points we try to score, it all is predicated on that particular team. But each team, each player, each coach that's been in our program will say, hey, we lay our hat on playing great defense. because I think there's always has to be one something, and it doesn't have to even be a X's and O. It could just be a philosophy. It could be a belief or a thought that I think that everyone has to be able to go back to that and say, this is who we are. You know, this is what we stand on. And again, as you grow your program, as you do things, as teams change, I think there's a sense of security. There's a sense of pride when you can say, hey, this is who we are. And this is who we are.
Yeah, so even if people know the game plan, as long as you do it well and do it to your best of your ability,
yes,
you got the W.
Yes. I think Coach once told me, hey, it's basketball, keep it simple.
Yeah. Keep it simple with a few cool dunks mixed in every now and again. Because we love the dunks.
I know.
I know, you still probably hate it, but we
tried.
love it.
We called one play last night and it didn't work because we didn't set it up right for a dunk. And
was that for Daren?
It's at the end of the half. It was for Taze.
Okay, because we saw a moment for I was like, oh, he almost had it.
Yeah. So,
but cool.
right.
Okay. Well, we'll get it next time.
We will.
All right. To wrap up this breakdown, I don't know if you caught the UConn-Baylor women's basketball game last night.
I didn't.
But Baylor upset UConn, and I believe it was UConn's first regulation loss in 209 games. So with that, even though you didn't get to see the game, do you think Baylor has it to take it all the way this year? When you do something like that.
Yes. I mean, obviously if you do that, but I would have to do some studying. I mean, UConn is so strong. And
absolutely.
South Carolina, I don't know how good they are this year, but they've been a team that's really done well. Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. I follow women basketball also, but I didn't follow that last night.
Well, you're busy during the season, we know.
Right, exactly. So,
but yeah, no, it was a good game. You got to check it out. But they handed it to the Huskies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so good.
I'm sure Coach Gino's not happy today.
Probably not. He didn't look happy last night. All right, Coach, so we made it through.
We made it through.
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for joining us in the new year for the Runners Recap.
Yes.
We love having you here, and wish you the best of luck in conference play. So far, so good.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we will catch you next week with Runners Recap. Thanks for tuning in.